The artistic director of something that's been around since, I guess, 1976, the Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble. Kevin O'Rourke is with us. Kevin, nice to have you here. Welcome to KDKA, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, Stoney. Thank you so much for having me.
And am I correct? Is it Kevin No, or is it Kevin O'Rourke, recently married, or how do I go about your whole name here?
Yeah. I guess my professional stage name is still Kevin No. That's what I've been using my whole career. But I did get married, and when I got married, we hybridized our name because my wife represents an enormous upgrade to everything about my life. So I annexed her name into mine, and she was O'Rourke, I was No, we became the No Rourke.
I love it. I love it. Creativity, even in the name from a marriage. That's fantastic.
Well, we're artists.
Of course. Well, tell me about the Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble. You've got a new show, The Human Experience, coming up next weekend, and it sounds remarkable. And you're certainly no stranger to this, conducting music at MSU. I dated a girl from Michigan State University. Go Spartans! Over 100 works in your resume. So this is no new thing to you, but being the Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble, how do you keep it new?
Well, there's a couple of ways. One of the things is that we do a lot of commissioning. For anybody who doesn't know what that means that we seek out composers to write brand new pieces for us, and we pay them to do so.
Wow.
So over the course of the 43 years that PNME, we call ourselves PNME Theater of Music, over the course of our existence, we've now premiered, at the end of this season, 309 new works, if you can imagine such a thing. I mean, that's just an astonishing accomplishment, and something we're really proud of.
Well, you should be, and it is, and the fact that you seek out composers to create new music and pay them, I said wow, because that's not something that's that common these days, That's marvelous.
Yeah, that's very rare. So we're 309 into it, and this year we're adding 5 more to the list in this particular season. So one of the ways that we keep it new is by continuing to create brand new work and then give those world premieres here at our home at City Theater on the South Side every weekend in July. That's one way. Another way that we keep things new is that this isn't by no means your typical quote-unquote new music ensemble. A lot of people hear the sound of the words new music ensemble and start running because they think, well, that's music that I'm not going to like and I'm not going to be able to relate to it.
I don't know this, right, yeah.
I don't know it, it sounds angry, But what we are, in fact, a theater of music, and that means that for us, yes, music is at the center of what we do, but it is also the vehicle for larger ideas. So if you come to the City Theater to see a show that PNME Theater of Music is doing, it is going to have a very clear narrative that binds things together. You're going to have full-fledged staging and lighting design. You're going to have the performers sometimes in costumes. You're going to have acting, and you're going to have singing, and you're going to have a lot of storytelling as a part of the whole experience so that it's put together much the way a great play or a great film flows from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
And so the environment in which you see it is always quite new at PNME. And this year, we're taking that yet another step. We've been doing this kind of immersive theater of music thing for quite a number of years, and now many professional new music ensembles around the country are copying this style. But we're going to take it further this year because on our last show, which is the 27th and 28th of July at City Theater, that's a show called The Grey Cat and the Flounder, which is very special to us, and we're going to be on tour with it overseas in Scotland next year and play about 30 or 40 shows. And this is our first time doing it with the audience in headphones. So this is going to be a completely immersive experience.
Wow.
And we're going to do some things with the sound that we couldn't do any other way, using a very special $9,000 binaural head microphone. I guess I'm talking to a guy who knows a lot about microphones. So if you know anything about binaural or dummy head microphones, they're really extraordinary. And we're going to put all of the audience in headphones and begin to use sound in a kind of in an expressive way that I don't think anybody else is doing. And this is going to be part of our future. So long-winded answer. You asked me how we keep it new. By creating new works, by commissioning composers, and by continually reimagining the way that we present it to the community in a really immersive and holistic kind of way. Those are the two ways we keep it new.
Well, and the key word, immersive, I mean, there's something where you really are involving the audience in I won't even just say the music, but the whole performance. Everybody is there, not just sitting passively going, oh, that's a nice song, or exactly. I love the way they play. Where are you finding, and are you finding it hard to find the musicians for these shows to work at this level?
Well, it is hard because it requires a prodigious level of ability, and it requires musicians and artists who are willing to step way outside their comfort zone. This is a group, if you know classical music and you saw this group, you would say, okay, those are classical musicians because they're holding classical instruments. But once you see the show, it's hard to describe what we do as classical music. As I say, it's very adventurous the way we put everything together, and it requires adventurous people. We take the kind of risks at PNME that you just would never see at the symphony. You know what I mean? That's not just true of the music, but that's true of the way we present it. So yes, it's been difficult, but we have an incredible team. We had to go international to do it. Our violinist is British. She lives in Paris. Our pianist is from Sweden. He now lives in Vienna. He's come here. Our clarinetist plays in Seattle Symphony, so he's come from there. Our singers are from all over the place. So it's a truly international troupe. But in the summer, they all come here and live exclusively here in July in Pittsburgh. And they have been doing this for many years. So they almost all call it their home away from home because they all have their favorite Pittsburgh things, and fries on the sandwich is the subject of some hot debate, etc.
I can't help but thinking when you talk about the musicians and you talk about classical music, and I'm a big fan of classical music. Wouldn't Mozart absolutely love what you guys are doing? Because isn't that kind of what he had in his mind, that people said, "Oh no, Wolfgang, you can't do it that way."
I certainly would love to think so. I can tell you this: if he came to a show and he didn't like it, I'd certainly hear what he had to say and reconsider how we put these things together.
There's that playful spirit about, it's creativity, yes, but there's also that playful spirit and the experimentation, as you say, about using, certain kinds of microphones and involving people with headphones, and the theatricality of the whole thing is amazing.
Well, I think the thing is that Mozart was very much of his time in that he was responsive to the audience and the community around him. He was in touch with that. And when I am not comparing myself to Mozart. Let's get that straight. Okay?
Mozart, he never said that, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Mozart was a genius, and I'm just Kevin. I just want to be clear. But I do believe that when I walk around any city and I see half of the people on the street immersed in headphones, wearing earbuds, walking along, and then you pick up most classical recordings done in the normal way that classical recordings are done. They simply just can't compete. They can't compete with kind of the experience that most people are getting in terms of the level of saturation and immersion that music provides. Yeah. So one of the steps that I have taken as part of being responsive to feeling that and wanting it myself is to plunge into this idea that we're going to start to perform in a way that allows the audience to be in headphones, and we can control the sound and the experience in a way that is so much more aurally lustrous, for lack of a better word.
Sure.
It's going to allow us to do things that we couldn't do any other way. When you sit in a concert hall, where you sit makes a big difference in terms of the sound quality that you get. You're sitting next to one speaker, it's blasting out one kind of sound, you're missing other parts,
right,
etc. But when you're here, every single person is going to be in the best possible seat. And that microphone, which is very special, they call it a dummy head, but he's anything but a dummy. Uh-huh. That microphone, when you see a musician or an actor like myself or somebody step up to the microphone and talk to it, you are going to feel as though you are that microphone. You're going to feel that level of intimacy and connection with the sound quality that you can only get in this way.
Well,
if somebody is say 4 inches behind the ear, because there are ears on this microphone.
Right.
If somebody is 4 inches behind the ear, you're going to feel like we're 4 inches behind you, and that sense of proximity and vulnerability that comes with that kind of experimentation lends a unique expression to what we do, and I'm super excited about it.
Well, perfectly explained, too. And I was thinking, I mean, if you're listening in those headphones with those very sensitive microphones, it is really like being on stage with the players and hearing them play and feeling. You could probably feel the arm motions and the turns of the heads as somebody talks and perhaps is a little off-center of the microphone. That's exciting in itself.
Now you are an astute man, because that is exactly the way binaural microphones are described. They say that the difference is that most microphones, like the one that you're using right now, is designed to take the best qualities of your voice and deliver it to wherever anyone else is. Right? That makes sense. Your voice is going out in the cars and all over the kitchens and wherever people are listening to you right now, and it's doing the best job it can of taking your sound to them. But binaural microphones turn it on its head, and their goal is to bring you to the experience. Mm-hmm. So you feel as though you go onto the stage with people. And we have started recording in this manner, and the people that I have let listen to have said exactly the kind of things that you're saying. They say, Kevin, I feel like I can reach out and touch the instruments. Yeah. Or when the singer is telling me a story, I feel the hair on my neck stand up because she's right with me. She's not singing at me. Yeah. From a distance. She's with me right here telling me what I need to know in a kind of vulnerable way. So you're quite right. Are you just imagining this, or have you actually experienced this yourself on binaural microphones? Have you heard them? Is that why you're speaking with such grace about this?
Well, no. Speaking of this, I have goosebumps for this entire interview because it's so interesting, and it really. I mean, I've always felt. I mean, there's nothing like being on stage with musicians and hearing that music, and what you're talking about. It's just very exciting, and the fact that these are classical musicians, no doubt playing instruments that have their own history in the wood. So you're here. Oh my gosh, how we could go on for days. But how do people get tickets for this weekend at City Theater and follow you guys around and stay involved with the Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble?
Sure. The first thing you would do is go to www.pnme.org. That's Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble.org. That's where you can get a lot of information about our shows. We play every Friday and Saturday throughout the month of July, always at City Theater on the south side. That's 1300 Bingham Street. Right. They do have a parking lot right here, so the people that get freaked out about parking on the south side, I hear you. I feel your pain. But they do have a lot right here next to City Theater that you can use. Yeah. And those shows are always at 8 p.m., The very last week, as I mentioned before, we have this very special show called The Gray Cat and the Flounder, and that's the one where the audience is going to be in headphones. Okay. That one we've actually had to add a show because of the high demand for it. So we play Friday and Saturday night, the 27th and 28th at 8 p.m., but we also have a special free show that's at 1 p.m. on Saturday that's a children's matinee. And so we're encouraging all the families to come for that. But we do think that everybody should actually get on the website and start reserving tickets now for any of those, because when we did the Gray Cat and the Flounder before, we sold out. So I would encourage people to get on it earlier than later, if that makes sense.
This is fun to learn about and thrilling to learn about as well, Kevin. Thank you very much for your time. As I said, we could go on for days, but I'd rather just come and enjoy and experience it firsthand at the hands of you wonderful musicians and at your directing for the human experience and the Great Cat and the Flounder. Kevin, thanks for taking the time to be with us this afternoon.
Stoney, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for talking to me about the theater and music. Have a good one. Okay, thank you. Kevin O'Rourke, and that is the Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble. Check them out. Pittsburgh New Music Ensemble is you can find it on the web, and you will be happy with what you find, and you will be happier when you get out to see the shows. Thank you again, Kevin. We'll take a break here. We'll have more as we continue. News Radio 1020. It's KDKA.